This first coin is going to be a 1947 S mint mark. So the first thing you want to look for is doubling. So look for that on the lettering, E pluribus unum, as well as on the rest of the lettering of the coin also. So use your coin microscopes to see that doubling up close. I have those microscopes available on couchcollectibles.com. Now here is an example of a 1947 S. You can see here on the coin slab it says DDR, which is double die reverse. So look for that. This coin has some nice natural toning to it here, and this coin sold for over $140, and of course it does have a mint state 67 grade, so that will give it a lot of value as well. If you find a double die reverse and it's in really poor condition and worn down and it's low grade coin, it's obviously not going to sell for as much. Now also on your 1947 S's, you want to zoom in on the back of the coin, on the reverse of the coin, and look for an S over a D mint mark. So here's an example of that, and that is not the only thing you want to look for on the mint mark. You also want to look for a repunched mint mark. So here the S mint mark has been repunched. Always be on the lookout for the repunched mint mark and the S over the D mint mark. Here's an example of the over mint mark. So we see here on the coin slab it says S/D and OMM over mint mark. This coin is graded by PCGS at a mint state 67, so that is going to give it a lot of value as well. Now this coin here sold for over $645, so very nice for that coin, over a $600 dime. For the 1947 S that has that repunched mint mark, now this coin is graded at a mint state 66, and this coin sold for over $150. So always be on the lookout for the repunch mint mark and the S over the D, as well as the double die reverse. Now here is a 1947 S that is graded at a mint state 68, and look at the toning of this coin. Man, is that just incredible or what? That is really cool. Nice looking coin here. This coin sold for over $5,000. $5,000. For the 1947 D mint mark, again we got some nice toning here around the rim of the coin, and this coin here sold for over $1,700, so $1,700 because of its high grade of a mint state 67. Coin does have full bands as well. If you guys are not familiar with full bands, I explain it in some of my other dime videos, so be sure to go check those out. Moving on to a 1947 no mint mark. Again, this is the same exact grade as the last coin, and you see that it's got some toning to it as well, graded at a high grade. This coin sold for over $3,000. So very awesome. Let's check out these other dimes that are worth money. Alright, so for 1946, we have the no mint mark, the D mint mark, and the S mint mark. We see how many they made of each one here in the image displayed. You see that the 1946 S is the lower minted one. They only made 27.9 million of those, compared to, 255 million for the 1946 no mint mark and 61 million for the 1946 D mint mark. So the first thing you want to look for on the 1946 S is a repunched mint mark. We can see that here in the image displayed. If you guys want to see your coins up close like this, I do have coin microscopes available on couchcollectibles.com. The link again is down in the comments. Now for this coin here, this one's kind of tricky because it has that repunched mint mark that we just looked at, and it's also got a double die reverse, so there's doubling taking place on the back of this dime. Now this dime here does have a high grade as well, and it has full bands. I've discussed that in other videos, so go check out all my other dime videos. That is a lot to remember. I know we got a high grade, we got full bands on the reverse, we got doubling on the reverse, and we have an RPM on the mint mark. So that is a lot to keep up with. Now this dime here sold for over $720. And then here's an example of doubling taking place on the back of the 1946 S Roosevelt dime. We see that doubling taking place on the word United States. So definitely always be on the lookout for the 1946 S double die reverse and repunched mint mark. Now for the 1946 D mint mark, there's also a RPM, a repunched mint mark. Now we can really see it there towards the northwest, the top left of the D there, so the northwest of the mint mark. So that's an example of an RPM on a 1946D. Here is a 1946D with no errors, no RPMs or anything. It's just graded at an extremely high grade of a mint state 68. It's got some nice toning to it, and this dime sold for over $4,200. Now for the 1946 no mint mark, we want to look for a double die obverse, so doubling taking place on the front of the coin. That means look for doubling on the date, the word liberty, the phrase in God we trust, as well as the JS initials there. If we look there at the bottom of the screen, we see those JS initials really doubled there, so always be on the lookout for that. Now we got 3 coins here that sold all together. So the first one's pretty cool because it's got doubling on the front, a double die obverse or DDO, and a DDR, a double die reverse, so doubling on the back of the coin. Now this coin sold with these other 2. Now this next one that sold along with it is a 1954S that has an RPM. I know we're talking about 1946, but I have to include these 2 other coins with it. And then we also have a 1964D with an RPM as well, so a repunched mint mark on the D mint mark. All 3 of those coins sold together for a combined total of over $215. So not too bad, not too bad. Now for the 1946 no mint mark, here is an extremely high graded version of this coin, and it's graded at a mint state 68 with the full torch. So I'll get in more detail of that in another dime video coming up. If you don't know what full bands are, definitely look at my other dime videos on YouTube. Just type in rare dimes, couch collectibles, and you'll find those videos. This dime here, because of the high grade, sold for over $2,800. Here's a 1946S with some extremely amazing toning to it. Now this one, again, it does have a very high grade. That's what makes the coin valuable. Mint state 68 with the full bands, and this dime sold for over $3,800. We're looking at the 1954 silver Roosevelt dime. Here is the mintages. Now I'm going to show you something to look for that could definitely make your dime worth some money if you do have a 1954. Now you see here that they produced over 114 million of the no mint mark, 106 million of the D mint mark, and then only 22.8 million of the 1954 S mint mark. Alright, so first up here is a 1954 no mint mark. Now this one does have full bands. I've discussed that in my other dime videos, so if you haven't seen those videos, definitely go check those out. Now this one is solely valuable because of its high grade of a mint state 67 plus having the full bands. Now very high graded coins like these are difficult to find, especially the older the coin, it's going to be more difficult to find a higher graded coin. Now this coin, because of the high grade and because of it having full bands, sold for over $3,700. Next up is another high-graded Roosevelt dime. This is a 1954D Denver minted Roosevelt dime. Now this one here is graded again at a mint state 67 with full bands. That's why it's valuable. This coin here sold for over $1,800. Now here's a really valuable dime. These coins here do have some really nice toning to them. And of course this one is another high graded coin, and that's why it's worth a lot of money. It's a 1954S. So this is the lower minted 1954 out of the 3. And this dime sold for over $6,000. 6,000 US dollars. Something you want to look for on the 1954S is a repunched mint mark. So we can see like northwest of the top of the S, we can see how that is repunched. So right there to the top left of the S mint mark, you can see that repunched mint mark. So always look for that. Now also here is 2 examples of double die reverses. So you want to look for doubling on the back of the coin. Specifically you want to look for doubling on the bottom of the torch for the 1954 Roosevelt dimes. This dime here sold for over $350 that has that doubling. And then here's another example. This dime here sold for over $185. Now something you really want to look for on the Roosevelt dime is the no JS initials. That is the designer's initials that sit right to the left of the date. If we zoom in here on this example of the 1954 dime, you see those JS initials. Now here's an example of a 1954 dime that is missing the JS initials, so always be on the lookout for that. That's a super simple one to look for. Here's an example of a Roosevelt dime that has the no JS initials, and this dime here sold for over $160. Alright guys, don't forget to subscribe in the middle, check out the videos to the left of me, and until tomorrow, I'll see you on the comment section below. This is Couch Collectibles, and this is where I disappear.